You're listening to PlayStation Unchained.
What's up, guys? Welcome to episode 75 of PlayStation Unchained. I'm your co-host, Mike Harroditz, and joining me once again is my partner in crime, Ben Shillaby Hall. What's up, Ben?
Not too bad, and how have you been? It's been a while since we chatted.
Yeah, it has. I wasn't on last week's show. You took the reins there. I'm good, though, man. Not much to report on, really. Same old. Still pumping iron. I've had to think about that for a sec for some reason. Say that again?
More strip clubs last week?
Oh, no strip clubs. No, it's just my mate coming around for a weekend of gaming and stuff.
That's what they all say nowadays.
That's usually him playing Watch Dogs and me sitting there watching. So there we go. Not exactly fun, but whatever.
Sounds like fun for Stephen, though. I mean, watching dogs.
What? Don't go there. Cool. It's good to be on the show again with you, Ben. We also have our regular Neil Bolt. How's it going, Neil?
Hello. Yeah, I'm wonderfully refreshed from a week at Butlins. So.
Oh, okay. Nice. How apart from Butlins, how are you doing? How's things going?
Yeah, pretty good. Other than that, that's pretty much consumed my week. So it's being a good old-fashioned British, holiday maker was quite nice for a change. So yeah, but yeah, it's been quiet really. Other than that, just decorating and bits and bobs. But gaming-wise, pretty weak really this week.
Oh, okay, fair play. And joining us is Gary. Gary, how's it going?
Oh, it's pretty good, Mike. Nice to be back. Thanks for having me.
It's all right, man. We moved to Sunday so we could accommodate you, shall we say? Because you haven't been on for a while, have you?
Oh, no, I have not, and I feel happy about this. Thank you.
Yes,
so nice.
It's no problem, and it's good to have you on. And that's not actually all, guys. We have a 5-man show today because I'm proud to say that joining us at long last, thanks to me procrastinating, but there we go. We have Robert Zwetsloot, our ex-PSU staff member and all-around awesome guy and friend of mine since 2007. What's up, Rob?
Senpai has noticed you. Hi, I'm Rob. Hello, Mike. How's it going?
I'm doing great. How are you doing, man? It's very good to talk to you again.
Yeah, I'm feeling good. I'm relaxed. It's been a good weekend. Got a week off until MCM Expo or Comic-Con, whatever you want to call it. I guess it's the biggest UK kind of fan convention-y thing going on. And so that's next weekend in London. And I'm getting ready for that with a new costume. And yeah, kind of fun to be back on a podcast. A podcast is always great. Podcasting is fun, especially with you guys. Yeah.
Thank you. Yes. And it has been a while. And Rob, if you don't mind, if you would be so bold, it's just to remind our audience what it is you do for a living.
Dear listener, dear Kohai, Senpai is here. Senpai is noticing you. Senpai used to work for PSU many years ago. I was a freelancer there. I left to work for a very boring but also very good Linux magazine, which I still write for. I am currently the features editor, so I'll edit all your features. And I also, in my spare time, do random silly cosplay videos and skits while also cosplaying and shout a lot of random crap on Twitter, I guess, as well. So
and you're M. Bison in your spare time.
And I'm M. Bison. I am the actual M. Bison. Of course, yes, this is delicious, etc. So, yeah.
So you see, we're all going to get paid in Bison dollars at the end of
yes. Unfortunately, they're not worth the paper they're printed on, so, yeah.
On the contrary, every Bison dollar every Bison dollar is worth £5 British. So that's the going rate the Bank of England will have to agree to once I kidnap their queen.
I wonder how Sony will translate the PSN stuff to Bison dollars and Shadaloo. Will they just go for a straight thing, or will they just times it by 6, not even 5,
Well, it's Sony, they'll probably just change it as it is. They'll leave the price. £12, $12,000.
Oh, I mean, you get an extra discount in Shadaloo.
Yeah. So, Shadaloo, yeah. Well, it's been great. It's great to have you on the show again.
Thank you.
We will definitely make this more of a regular thing when you have time and everything. So,
yes.
And that includes other guests as well. We will do our best to have some more people on. There's probably a bunch of guys who I'm sure about the rest of you guys would like to have on, friends, ex-co-workers, whatever, family. Who cares? Yep. Okay, guys. Well, let's jump into the news, shall we? We're starting off on May the 11th. We're going to run down some main stories.
Can I just take a quick thing? I'm looking at your News of the Week page.
Yeah.
And you've got a Halo 5 advert on there, and it's making me giggle because you're a PlayStation website.
We must suffer for our sins.
We had a Splatoon advertisement at one point, I think.
Splatoon's awesome, though, isn't it? So,
But it's just, didn't stay soft.
Yeah. Well, everyone has every console these days, so it's fine.
Yeah. That's but unfortunately, those kind of things, that happens. That's all I can say. I wish Stephen was here to explain the ins and outs because I'm sure.
Oh, I understand the ins and outs roughly. Anyway, it's fine. I just thought it was quite funny, but anyway,
it is funny. It's actually that was quite good. If you've got any other impromptu things like that, be sure to shout out. Okay, guys. Well, this first story actually involves Xbox One as well. PS4 and Xbox One 8GB memory is enough to last this generation, says ex-Naughty Dog developer. Yes, this is John Habel, used to work for the Naughty Dogs, who of course made the Uncharted franchise, blah, 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 blah. Speaking with Game & Bolt, Habel suggests that consoles are packing more than enough technical muscle under the hood this cycle to ensure they are not outdated in a few years' time. I have a quote here, which I will read. He says, in general, I would not worry about the consoles becoming outdated. Remember, the PS3 and Xbox 360 only have 512 megabyte of RAM, but the PC versions of the same games usually require 2 gigabyte or more. On consoles, you have more control over memory allocations. The 8 gigabyte of RAM in both the Xbox One and PS4 should be plenty for the remainder of this console generation.
So it's probably a good thing you've got a tech journalist on the
yes, it is.
Today.
Go to you first, Rob, funnily enough.
Yeah. Have you finished the quote, or did I just...
No. That's pretty much the main...
Right. Okay, so he's absolutely 100% correct. And even better, the RAM that they have in... especially in the PS4, it's GDDR RAM, so it's like better RAM suited for video game stuff. It clocks faster, so you get a better read rate out of it. 8 gigabyte is roughly what you need for all games right now on PC. And he's 100% correct. Every single dev I've spoken to over, the past 6, 7, 8 years, over long I've been doing this, has always told me that when developing for the consoles, because you're only developing for one hardware set, you can better optimize for this hardware. Therefore, having 8 gigabytes on both PS4 and Xbox One is perfect and lasting. The next, how long have they been out now? Like a year and a half. So yeah, if they got another 4 years to go. That's perfectly enough. And when the 512 megabytes on the PS3 and the Xbox 360, and the PS3 was even worse because it had like this weird split between two 256 megabyte things.
256 megabyte of VRAM and 256 of something else. One was slower than the other as well, which didn't help.
Yeah, and I mean they worked around that. We had some lovely looking games that generation, but having this extra bit of oomph is going to be fantastic. We're not going to have the same kind of kind of plateauing like we did last generation of graphics, which we're just going to be able to, by the end of the last generation, like PC games were actually being limited because of their console counterparts, because they were developing it for the console first, and then porting it to the PC, and it kind of like I had Batman Arkham City, and it looked like the next generation game on PC and like a previous generation game on the PS3 and 360. But we were not going to have that kind of thing on this generation of consoles. Not just yet. Like maybe if they stretch out another 7 years, it might start getting a little bit more PC heavy by the end of it. But it's not going to be anywhere near like it was last generation.
Well, thank you for that.
Can I jump in now?
Yeah, go for it. I was going to say thank you, Professor
Sweatsuit. CPU though with the PS4, it's not an Xbox One. Aren't that powerful as it is anyway. So I can see that being the main limiting factor in the future.
It's still alright. They've got beefy GPU hardware, which is more important for them. But as we were saying, because they can... Yeah. But you're right, they'll be less limiting from the RAM, will be more from the other resources area of it. But as they said, they can better optimize for that, for the hardware area because it's console. So,
well, especially as it's more PC-like now than ever. They can just literally downgrade it.
It's easier than it was, but yeah.
Yeah.
Sweet. Neil, do you have anything to add to that at all?
Yeah, it'll be good. They can keep up for that long, and as I said, not plateauing will be a nice part of that. But also that they might be able to keep on level gameplay-wise and branch out what they can do with the games in that form as well. And hopefully make it a better all-round experience. Not have to compensate having great graphics by making a shallower game as the generation goes on. And yeah, which I think is going to start seeping through a bit more in the next couple of years. So yeah, it's all good. And,
all good is good.
Console players generally aren't going to care as much as PC players about the limitations, but so it's more than enough, as you said. So
wicked, cool. Thanks for that. And finally, Gary, do you have anything to add to that?
Not necessarily. I think you guys touched on everything. I mean, all I can really say is I don't think it really matters, simply because the developers are always going to kind of make sure all the game is going to be even or as close to even as it possibly can on all three, Xbox One, PS4, and PC. So, if anything, you can say the console may hold games back, but technically, unless it's graphical, it's not really going to make much of a difference. You can look at a game like The Witcher 3 that's coming out on Tuesday, and yeah, the PC version looks a little bit better, but other than that, it's pretty much the same game. And developers are always going to look at that. There's really no reason for them to make a game that's so powerful on the PC that can't be run on the console, because most of their money is going to come from the console these days anyway.
Yep,
it's true. Yeah.
Cool. Cheers, guys. Okay, moving on, guys. Oh, I've been waiting for this one. It's Assassin's Creed. The new Assassin's Creed Syndicate has been announced, and yes, as it was confirmed, because it was leaked way back in, I think it was December, originally known as Assassin's Creed Victory then. It's set in London in the year 1868, I believe.
1868, okay, cool.
Yeah, 1868, so sort of early Queen Victoria reign there.
Yeah, Tower of London not even being built just yet.
Yeah.
London... Tower Bridge is what I mean. Sorry.
Yeah, Tower of London. Yeah, that's that was there for quite a few centuries. Yeah, Big Ben, most importantly, will be there because that was actually just recently constructed.
Yeah, the House of Parliament. So
yeah, definitely. So that's great. That was actually featured in one of the early leaks, early screenshots. So that's cool. In terms of pre-orders, you'll be, if you put your money down there, you'll get the Darwin and Dickens Conspiracy DLC. I think it's worth mentioning. The game itself is out on October 23rd this year for PS4, PC, and Xbox One. The main protagonist is called Jacob, and he has a sister as well who you'll be able to play as, I believe.
Evie.
Yes. We have a new. There's a trailer as well, guys. So if you just want to do a quick search for Assassin's Creed Syndicate on PSU, you can view check out the announcement story and view the trailer there. I'm ecstatic about this. I've been ecstatic. I've been wanting to have an Assassin's Creed game set in London for a long time now. So this is great. I've already. There's going to be groans for this. I've already pre-ordered my Big Ben edition. As I do.
Chili edition one.
What?
Yeah, They've gone overboard. There's 4 different types of versions. Obviously the most expensive one, which I've got, has everything, and it goes right down to basically a special case and some DLC and everything else in between. So I've obviously gone the most expensive route as usual. So I'm not gonna lie. I still love these games. I'm really, really hoping they do a better job of. As I think I'm sure everyone will say the same thing. Kind of checking the game, bug checking it, should I say, before release, because. As you may remember, Assassin's Creed Unity was chock full of problems, and some would say still is, depending on the console at least. So I really, really do hope that's not going to let it down. But yeah, I am looking forward to this game a lot. And I actually did a feature around Christmas about some specific historical figures and events that should be in it. And I really, really do hope they do have something on Jack the Ripper. I'm not quite sure what time in the 1800s he was. I can't.
Later than the 60s.
He was a bit later, yes. So, but this is Assassin's Creed. They do cut corners, so who knows?
Yeah.
But it would be kind of cool if they put Spring Hill Jack in there, though. That'd be great because that kind of fits.
1888 is the time for that. However, as we all know, the Assassin's Creed games usually last.
Yes, exactly.
Years, so,
yeah, they move forward. I mean, Assassin's Creed 2 was over like 20 years or something.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm really hoping that will happen. Anyway, enough about me. Let's go to Neil first. Neil, what do you think of this?
Yeah, I'm pretty stoked. Unity's grown on me the more I played it.
Cool.
As I didn't play it during launch time, so that was definitely beneficial. Yeah, I think they could get around some of the things that aren't around by using the same trick they used in Unity of little flash forwards with pockets and time. like the Statue of Liberty and the Eiffel Tower being built in these little pockets of time they had.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd say they'd probably do that again. As I was saying to Ben not long ago, I think they'll branch out on that a bit more and have bigger and bigger sections that take place at a completely different time period, but in the same city.
That would be pretty cool.
Because they used it enough, I think, in Unity that I think it will be a more major thing going forward. The potential's there. The only slack I can really cut that game is that it's their first full fat this generation Ubisoft game, and it had problems, but hopefully they have learned from that. I know it's not the exact same team this time around, but it's all the hope in the world that they can do better with it this time, with a bit more experience on the machines. And but a better word, it'll still be buggy as anything because the series just is a lot of the time, and because the problem open world games like that, you tend to have the problem. The thing I'd really like them to improve this time around is probably the combat, because Unity's combat was very weak even compared to Black Flag. So so far found Black Flag's combat a lot more satisfying. That's the great thing about it. I'm actually a bit more interested in the series again, having had a little break from it for a while. So it's and being London, as you said, in that era, it's the best sort of time.
Yeah, I agree with you there, definitely. Ben, since Neil mentioned you were talking about it to him, what do you think about this?
I'll be giving it a miss. I'm not a big fan of Assassin's Creed as it is anyway, so...
you weren't joking. I thought you were joking. I was waiting for the punchline.
It looks good.
Yeah.
But if it had co-op, I might have bought it.
Oh yeah, that's important. I should have actually mentioned there's absolutely no multiplayer in this at all, and I think that includes co-op as well.
Yeah.
Boo.
No, it's a blessing. It's actually a blessing because Assassin's Creed 2 is my favourite because it was what it was. It was single player. It was focused.
That and Brotherhood, they're tied for me. I can't decide between them.
This game is pretty much perfect for co-op because there's 2 playable characters that you can switch between.
Yeah, but even more the GTA thing. And from what I've heard, the female character isn't really implemented all that well already.
Well, see, that's perfect.
Great.
Sounds more like a character skin, basically changing the skin.
More like most co-op games. Then.
Yeah.
There's the main character, and there's random guy soldier man that doesn't really have any cutscenes.
There's games like that. I found it with Dying Light this year that you had that problem where in single player it had a lot more of the tension, a lot more of the panic because you were on your own, you had no one to help you out. The minute you went into co-op, it was just like Jackass, effectively. It was, you just try all you could to dick on each other and do stupid stuff like that, and you just lost all the atmosphere. It kills what you're going for, and I think certain things you kind of, especially in a series that is starting to levitate back towards stealth. It's like more than one person in a stealth game is a mess. It's like in Unity, it's a mess if you play with anyone in co-op because people don't. They just jump in, going all guns blazing, and then wonder why it all goes wrong.
I do that in single player Assassin's Creed.
So do I, but at least it's just me causing the mess.
I played the co-op missions in Uni and then just stopped playing it. So no co-op, no buy from me.
That's what I said. Dying Light, I put 50 hours into it on my own, and yet the minute I started playing with people, I just didn't really want to know anymore.
You need to get some friends to play with.
Well, I have those,
friends.
but
car friends, game friends, gaming friends.
The modern aim on the games reviewer being, if you've got a game before everyone else, you've usually done most of it before they get a hold of it. And then, as I did in that case, and so they were all like, "We're all just starting." And I'm like, "Yeah, I've already put about 40 hours in." So,
oh dear, always talk of Unity. I really need to start playing that again. I've got it on the desk behind me. Gary, quickly, how about you?
I'm excited of the time period they're going to.
Yeah.
It was one of the 2 that I really wanted them to go, that and feudal Japan. I would have been more excited for it 4 years ago, though. That day, back when they released their big poll, and they asked like, where do you guys want Assassin's Creed to go next? And feudal Japan and Victorian London were the number 1 and number 2 spots, and instead we got colonial America and the Caribbean islands and Revolution France, 3 locations that didn't even pop the top 10 from what I remember. And now they're finally going to Victorian London, and I'm sorry, at this point, I'm just not impressed with Assassin's Creed anymore. And as much as I want to play the Victorian London one, I'll probably miss it as well. I wasn't too impressed with the gameplay demonstration they showed off either, from the trailer that I saw. But that's just me. I don't know about you guys. Like, you guys live like in the UK, but to me it seemed like Victorian London was way too open from everything I've seen of that time period of London. I don't know about how it is there in real life.
How do you mean?
Well, like when he's riding the carriages, like the streets are so huge and wide.
Yeah.
From everything I've seen from like old movies and pictures and stuff like that, they didn't look like they were that wide.
Well, it looks like a shithole. So
old movies and pictures and sets are from like like a soundstage in Hollywood somewhere where they don't have enough space to properly recreate London. So
no, that's why I was asking you guys, like how wide and big are the actual streets?
Central London's got some properly wide streets, mate.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, it depends where you go, Gary. There are some really tight kind of alleys and roads and stuff, but it is quite expansive. I went on a duck boat tour a few weeks ago, which was quite eye opening. Quack quack, which was really quite good. It's quite an amazing. It's a big place. It's quite open. Yeah.
You've got to remember that in late Victorian area, they're becoming a lot more industrialised and in the way where they want people to kind of be in there and move around London streets. So they've kind of done make sure the roads are quite nice and big. So
yeah, exactly. Rob, did you have anything else to add about Assassin's Creed Syndicate? You mean you sort of bantered a bit at the beginning there?
Did I? Okay, well, I mean, I'm still way behind. I'm halfway through Assassin's Creed 3. I got it at a release, and I just haven't really got around to playing all of it. I do want to finish it. Yep. I haven't got to a point where I don't like it yet, and then I want to do a catch-up. But I'm definitely interested in playing it. I like how they've tried to figure out a way to kind of make up for Victorian London not having an amazing amount of kind of high, roofy places to do free running along with their rocket launcher, or whatever it was called. It's nice that they're adding it's typical Ubisoft. They have to have a gruff white male protagonist, but to try and appease everyone else, they're like, oh, well, he's got a sister you can play with as well. Hopefully she's not just use her for a couple of times and she's a bit shit.
It does. It does unfortunately sound like it's an apology for saying what they did about Unity, but we couldn't make females.
They're like one of the biggest studios in the world. They can easily do it. But anyway, what was I going to say? I'm going to refute. Like, I love the multiplayer in Assassin's Creed. Brotherhood was probably one of my favorite Assassin's Creed, and I had multiplayer in it. I don't think it took away from it at all. The Revelations multiplayer, me and my friends sunk about 100 hours into because we were just that obsessed with it. It was that good. Haven't actually properly played, Unity anyway, so I haven't played any of that. I'll be sad that it's gone, although by the time I get it at this rate, I don't think any of my friends will still be playing it. All the servers will still be on, so can't really lament it. But, the multiplayer in Assassin's Creed has always been... it's not well set up for any pro stuff, which is why it never became popular. Because you have to do through Ubisoft servers, and if those go down, then that's it forever. Yeah. But I think they're generally underrated because they have been really fun.
They're probably one of the more inventive multiplayer modes of the last decade or so. I think.
Yeah, even I.
I like things being set in London. I think it's quite cool when they are. I mean, maybe it's just because we don't get much love for it in like global mainstream media stuff. I've borrowed Zombie U from a friend. Still haven't got round to playing it yet, but my main interest in that is playing in London. So yeah, nice. And I enjoed the couple of hours in London in Uncharted 3. So
that pub fight was
pretty great. I like running off the rooftops and turning left, and you get to see the Thames and St Paul's and stuff. It was quite nice as well from the South Bank. But there was a massive negative reaction on my feeds to it when it first announced, and I have this theory about Assassin's Creed games called the inverse hype theory, where every single Assassin's Creed game, the kind of interest in the game leading up to it is the inverse of how it will review. So everyone was really excited for Assassin's Creed 3, and everyone hated it. People like Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. What do you mean they're doing another Ezio? This is going to be bad multiplayer. Oh, it's going to be terrible. Again, one of the best games, in the Assassin's Creed series. And now everyone's hating it so far. It probably means it's going to be a good one, but we'll see. We'll see. I mean, we'll have to wait until actually people play it a bit at E3, and if they're going to take any of the reactions into account. They've still got 9 months to get out the door, or 6 months even. So they could change it a bit. So interested to see how it pans out in the end.
Cool. Cheers, guys. I'm looking forward to that very much, as I said. I'm disappointed no one else is getting the Big Ben edition, but there we go.
That's what you get from Matt Summers.
Yeah.
What do we call it's getting it, isn't it? In the Kevin, I think it is.
Oh yeah, Kevin. That's because he buys everything in every. Yeah, he just hoovers up every single collector's edition ever known to man. So yeah. God knows how he affords it all, but there we go. Just a quick one here. We won't need to comment on this. I just want to quickly... Tom Clancy's The Division is coming out between January and March of next year. So that's got a release window. Onward to the next one. This is, again... I picked this one actually, especially for you, Rob, because it is quite a technical one, and plus it's quite an interesting topic as well. It's on... again, it's from Naughty Dog. This was during an interview with Games TM.
Right, so basically my company, yeah.
Yeah, Uncharted 4's lead designer, Ricky Cambia, said that he's speaking about in terms of the graphical evolution that we see. He says he finds it difficult to believe that PS4 games will experience a kind of evolution similar to Uncharted 1 and The Last of Us. I've got a quote here, which I will read out, and then we'll see what you guys have to say. He says... there were a few new titles like Killzone Shadowfall that were pretty damn impressive looking for a launch title, but Order 1886 is one of the best looking games I've seen on any system ever too. But what's exciting is that we're still in early days with PS4. If you look at the first Uncharted and how that looked versus how The Last of Us looked, I have difficulty fathoming that we'll have that kind of graphical leap in the next several years. The reality is we probably will as we learn the systems better, so it's all up from here, and that's exciting. So, Rob, I think I'll go over to you quickly. What do you make of that particular quote? Are we likely to see that bigger sort of, like from now PS4 into maybe 5 or 6 years' time? How are things likely to evolve? Is it going to be as big?
It's what the term I'd use is diminishing returns, because we're getting so advanced with what these consoles can do these days that. Yeah. Even if perhaps the games look, they got 20% more polygons than they did in, and the shaders are slightly better than they were like when the game launched, they already look so good that it would be difficult to tell the difference. And I think to get to the next kind of evolution of graphics to be ridiculously photorealistic sort of thing. I mean, they're looking pretty great now, obviously, but if they got to just that kind of extra level, it would need an extra amount of hardware jump. Not to say that it couldn't happen, that there could be some noticeable differences, but I think he's right. I think we're not going to see as big a jump from, the Halo to Halo 2 jump, or the Resistance 1 to Last of Us jump that we did in the last generation or the previous generation, It's, I'm sure the games will be looking better in a few years' time. But considering that the amount of studios having trouble getting out bloody new games these days anyway, hopefully, we'll have enough games released, enough iteration that they actually can increase over the next few years. So, yeah. No, I think he's perfectly right. And Dom, the guy interviewed him, he, apparently, like he was saying, the guy really knows what he's talking about. So I would really trust what he's saying.
Awesome, man. Cheers. Ben, how about you? Any comments on that?
I kind of agree with Rob. I don't think we'll see a huge jump in graphics from this till the end of this generation. We'll see little changes. We might notice a bit of, here and there, but I don't think we'll see big jumps like we did last time.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I have to agree with that. Like you said, the games are just looking so good now. I mean, when you look at Uncharted 4 and how good that's looking, I mean, that's the first Uncharted game of this generation. I mean, imagine what Naughty Dog could, even so, people like Naughty Dog are obviously the ones like pushing the boundaries and stuff. I think if it's, whatever they come out with, like towards the end, if you do a side, a sort of a comparison, say, hey, this is what we did early on, this is what we did now, you'll be able to see some improvements, but it won't be like looking at Nathan Drake in Uncharted 1 to Joel in The Last of Us, probably.
Yeah.
So yeah, Neil.
Also, the title for this article was "Can Drake Save Next Gen?" and like it caused an uproar on Twitter. Like, don't do such stupid headlines. And like, I can tell you the cover meetings now where like the MD of the company is going, "Yes, we need to have that on the cover. We need to let people know that this Drake is going to save this generation of consoles because he doesn't actually play games these days." So
yeah, I remember that. Yeah, oh, that was quite a cool title. Very cool. That's what caught my attention. So it worked. Neil, you just come back. Did you hear any of that at all?
Yeah, and I think you'll see mainly as this generation will be the gameplay wise, you'll be able to branch out, like I said before.
Yeah,
and that's what you'll use the UMP for, and that's where you can evolve. But yeah, I mean, early signs haven't been promising so far. A lot of cookie cutter things on the higher end of the market, but yeah, there's that gap between indie and AAA gets smaller over the years. You will get more inventive games that push the gameplay all over again and try new things with more expansive stuff. And they'll be able to achieve these graphics easily that we already have. And I mean, the biggest thing about the Orders graphics that we know is that you can see why it looks so good because everything behind it is so limited. And so, but what we're hoping in the future is that you'll have a game as gameplay-wise Uncharted and better, maybe more Last of Us in that sense.
Yeah,
that matches that graphical oomph.
Sweet. Finally, Gary, what does the KGB think?
I kind of have to agree. I don't think graphically we'll see a very massive improvement. It's kind of like a question we've always been asking ever since the PS1 came out, and we saw like, oh, look at this cool CG cutscene. I can't wait until my games look like that. And then here comes the PS2, and they do look like that, and then the CG gets better and better. And now you look like, again, The Witcher 3, and they released that launch trailer cinematic, the cinematic launch trailer, and you're like, wow. And the game doesn't even look that good. The game looks incredible as it is, but compared to that trailer, it's not even close. And it's just one of those questions where you're always going to keep asking it, and eventually we'll get there, but the quality of the CG is always going to be better as well. But for this generation, I think it's mostly going to be about how good you can and how realistic you can make your environments look. Like, oh, does the tree move realistically? And for me, I think this generation is going to be more about how great the particle effects are, how big the worlds are, and all that. I don't think graphically it's not going to be like, Call of Duty moving up graphically to like Crysis 3 quality. It's not going to be something that drastic this generation.
Yeah.
Just going to be building depth to the world with the extra power that they have.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be like adding the small details, in my opinion. Yeah.
But let's hope that studios don't just concentrate on that because, it's fun, but also games are more than that. So.
Well, moving on now. This, again, we'll just do a quick shout out for this. The Ratchet & Clank reboot has been pushed to 2016. I believe that's because the movie has also been delayed. Someone back me up on that about the movie?
I think the movie was on schedule, wasn't it?
I'm sure I read that the movie had been pushed back somewhere. Even if it hasn't, the game has now been delayed.
I think it was always scheduled for 2016 release. The movie was. Was
it? I could have sworn it was this year. Oh wow. Oh well. Either way, you won't be able to pick up the Ratchet & Clank reboot until next year. This next story, this was quite a shock when I read it. This was by Carl Prohl on May 14th. Xbox One beats PS4 in April 2015 NPD results. Wow, that's a shocker. Surprising many, Xbox One beat PlayStation 4 in hardware sales last month. PS4 has seen more units sold in the majority of months since the 8th console generation got its start, but Microsoft looks to be shifting momentum as we move closer to E3, Carl writes. This is a surprising development as few notable releases or market disruptions occurred in April to have shifted the needle. Cumulative hardware sales still put PS4 in a comfortable lead with about 20 million units sold to Xbox One's 12 million. Wow. PlayStation also led software sales in April. Sony also issued a brief comment on it, which I may as well read out. We would like to thank fans around the world for their continued support of the PS4. According to NPD, PlayStation continues to lead software sales for April 2015, and PS4 remains the cumulative sales leader in the US. We are looking forward to an amazing E3. In the case anyone was wanted to know, the top-selling game last month was Mortal Kombat X on PS4, Xbox One, followed by GTA 5, Battlefield Hardline, NBL 15 Show, and Minecraft. That's the top 5.
God, the fact that Sony had felt they needed to put out a press release because of that's quite incredible. So it's weird.
Well, they do that every month, don't they? They always comment on something.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah, if it's whether they've been outsold or whether they've beaten them, they always give some kind of spiel there. Let's start with Gary. Actually, now Gary, you've always been towards the back end. What do you think about this?
It is very surprising. I mean, it comes in a month where Microsoft really doesn't have anything coming out exclusively on their console, and Sony just released Bloodborne. But yeah, like, to me, I don't know what drove it. Maybe it's too many people already have a PS4, so it's time to buy an Xbox One. I don't really know what.
Were there any deals out there at all? Any deals from the Xbox One?
I think the question is, when isn't there a deal on the Xbox?
Yeah, good point, yeah. It's Gary. You mentioned about Bloodborne there. I just looked down. It's interesting that Bloodborne isn't in the top 10 software charts for April at all, which is surprising because it came out in late March. So I'm kind of surprised it didn't still hang around because it did very well. But just an observation there. Do you have anything more to add, Gary?
No, not necessarily. Just excited to see what happens at E3. I mean, the price drop, the permanent price drop to $349 is probably helping them a lot now. But yeah, like I said, I don't see anything that they've done to warrant such a big victory this month.
Yeah, we don't actually have actual numbers, sadly, but there we go. Neil, how about you, mate?
Yeah, it's surprising, as Gary said, but maybe it's because everyone who needs a PS4 has got one now. That many sold already. So they got a bit of extra money, and they go, oh, might as well get the other one now as well. It's baffling.
Yeah, it is.
Bloodborne was never going to be a system seller, really. I mean, as good as it is, not everyone's going to appreciate an ultra hard game.
Yeah, it's a bit more. It's more of a niche game, isn't it?
Yeah. So I mean, everyone would have bought it that wanted to buy it very early on, like that in that first week, because they want to savor it, devour it, and get it.
There are probably people listening to this podcast now just screaming in the streets that you've said such a bad thing about their favourite Souls title game. So yeah,
I like my Bloodborns. Even though
exactly. See, Chili's the guy who would just stop in the street and go, "Neil."
Yeah, it sounds good.
If a week goes by where someone doesn't call me some sort of name, it's not a good week. I haven't said it right.
Scarborough, what else am I going to do?
Yeah, that's it.
Ben, so may as well move on to you. What do you think about that?
I must admit, I was tempted by an Xbox One last month myself. Shop 2 had
Stray from the path, young Ben.
Well, Shop 2 had such an amazing deal.
They did actually, yeah.
270 quid. You get £15 of free. I think it's 3 months of that Sky service or whatever it was. Witcher 3 and Batman Arkham Knight, and the Xbox for £279.
Well, they're just giving it away for free at this point, man.
You might as well, out the back of the truck. That's right.
Witcher 3 is 50 quid, Batman's 50 quid, so that means you bought you bought the console for about 150 quid.
Nice.
Yeah. So yeah, I was really tempted for that price.
I don't blame you. I flirted with the idea of getting an Xbox One, but it's always been about something always comes up and I don't have enough cash.
Yeah, then I just spent all my money on the hotel for Birmingham in September, so yeah.
Is that Eurogamer?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wicked. Finally, Rob, do you have anything else, anything to add about that last story about the Xbox One sales and that?
It's 1 month, random month. I mean, PS4 is selling better than Xbox One. It is general. I mean, as Chili said, there's lots of really good deals going for the Xbox One right now.
Yeah.
And nothing particularly fantastic, apart from Bloodborne, I guess, going out for PS4. So
yeah.
At a really random, quiet time for the gaming year, like it doesn't really say anything. It's just that this 1 month Xbox One is selling well. I'm sure people at Microsoft are high-fiving each other and then going back to their grind to try and sell you more throughout the rest of the year. So yeah,
Cool.
but you just see kind of what it's going to be like to the run up of Christmas, though. I think that's the more important thing going on.
Yeah,
The big question is, will you be going to Eurogamer this year, Rob?
Unfortunately, I'm going to Birmingham for a Kitacon convention, so I might not be able to afford to go to Eurogamer in Birmingham. But yeah, unfortunately, I normally go there and actually cover it for Linux User, but not this year. I don't think, unfortunately. Yeah, sorry.
There we go. Since somebody mentioned E3 in the previous story, we have a date and time. Sony has announced that their annual E3 press conference will kick off on Monday, June the 15th at 6 p.m. Pacific time. This was typed up by Ernest. Once again, the PlayStation E3 conference will be held at the Los Angeles Memorial Sports Arena, as it has for the past few years. At this time, live stream details are unavailable. Interestingly enough, the invite's background image pattern not only includes the PlayStation face buttons, but also the number 2. If one combines with... I think he did a typo. If one combines the O with the 2, this could allude to PlayStation's 20th anniversary. That was written a bit funny there, I think. Mr. Word. Doesn't matter. What was I? Yes. However, PlayStation's 20th anniversary of December 3rd, 2014 has passed, and it didn't launch in North America until September 95. So the 2 could also be hinting at something else. A new PS4 version, a major sequel announcement. Speculate in the comment section below. But I shouldn't need to read that, did I?
But you can if you like.
Dear Mr. Lin, I think it's too early for a new PlayStation 4 iteration.
Yeah, please comment, guys. Yeah, go there now. That's a great podcast moment you need to keep in. That is great. So guys, this will. Does anybody who's good at time zones and maths, and what does 6 p.m. specific mean for UK? That's got to be 2 a.m. That's got to be
2:30 a.m. for us up at E3.
No, 6 p.m. is 10 a.m. That's us. That's what it is for us.
I thought E3 this year was 2 a.m. for Sony.
If it's 6 o'clock in the evening in 8 hours ahead. Oh wait, so it's 8 hours ahead. Sorry, you're right. Sorry, I'm thinking of 10 o'clock being 6 o'clock here. You're right. It's it's 8 hours ahead, so it's 2 o'clock in the morning. You're right. Sorry, yeah. Which means that I'll be in sleep and I'll wake up in the morning and I'll have like 1,000 snarky tweets from people talking about.
It should be 6:30, Mike, not 6. I thought because when I looked at it, was 2:30 a.m. It starts for us.
Oh God, no!
Yeah,
please.
after all the waffle. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well,
maybe Video is 2 a.m. I think.
Well, whatever it is, it's blooming early for us. There we go, as it has been like the last 3 years now. So yeah, well, that means another day of sleeping early and getting up, probably about 11 o'clock. Probably having to cover the EA press conference or whatever's before it that has been, and then probably going to sleep again and then waking up just before 2. But to be honest with you, I'm pumped for E3 every year, so I don't even notice it. But I just wish they'd host it at 5 p.m. like Nintendo does.
Oh yes, the Nintendo Direct. I'm looking forward to that so much. It's going to be so great.
Yeah, did you see the video for that?
I did.
Awesome. So what they're doing these days, they announce it with, kind of their irreverence seems to be taking over their announcements lately.
They do all this really family-friendly humor and get the Mega 64 guys in to help them film it. And it's funny.
It's direct this year, though.
Sorry?
They're actually having a press conference. They rented out an auditorium this year.
Oh, did they? Oh, okay, I thought it was another Direct. Oh, yeah, because they're doing the whole Nintendo World Championships 2015.
Are you sure? I could have sworn it said Nintendo Direct. Is it actually a press conference?
It normally is a Direct.
Yeah, it's a press conference this year.
They also moved it up by I think an hour because Square Enix press conference starts at the same time.
It does, yeah.
Square Enix changed their time, I thought.
Yeah, Square changed.
That means they have something going together and they don't want to have the same announcement.
Hey, so while we're talking about Nintendo, because why not on a PlayStation podcast?
Oh, it doesn't matter. It
happens.
Yeah.
What games do you think are going to be part of the World Championships 2015? Are you aware of what the World Championship 1990 was like?
I know of it, but and I was 6 years old at the time, so.
So you might be aware that the World Championship gold cartridges are one of the, if not the rarest video game of all time.
Yes.
Yes.
The gold cart, and it contains a selection of... Sorry?
But the gold carts weren't actually given away for the World Championship. Those were Nintendo Power, weren't they?
That might be correct. I can't exactly remember how they give them. I just know that they're like worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. But what is on them is like a series of games, like 4 or 5, something like that. And you have either got to complete like an A level of Super Mario Bros. 3 and get a maximum score, and like do so many laps of Rad Racer and get a certain time or something like that, and it all creates like a score thing to create a top thing. And I'm wondering if they're going to do a similar thing and then start selling out the discs like they did for the carts for the 1990 World Championship. And I'm hoping it'll be a nice selection of stuff. So they'll be like, oh yes, do this track from Mario Kart 8 and fastest time gets you points or what have you. And oh yes, do this level from Super Mario 3D World, and your time will get you points. And that'd be great, because any of you played the NES remixes at all?
I haven't, sadly, no.
I've seen them, though.
Yeah, so one of the cool things about them is they'll have 10, 15 second bits of Nintendo games, of NES games, and then they'll do like a mashup of them called the remixes, where it's like, oh, here's like, you do a section from an old NES game, almost like this World Championship thing, and you get points for it. So they've kind of got the concept of it down again, so they could either release it as a digital thing or as an actual disc. And I kind of hope they do, because it would be cool. But anyway, back to our normal scheduled programming of PlayStation.
No, that was actually pretty cool.
I'd like them to come in gold boxes, as in like the old gold cartridges.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, you open the box, then there's like a golden coloured disc. Yeah,
yes.
Nintendo World 2015 on the box.
Yes. Great. I'm looking forward to it.
Okay, well, to cap that story off, actually, I think because there was speculation about a hidden, maybe an announcement, a sequel, or whatever. I'll just go around and ask each and every one of you what game you'd like to see. It could be an entirely new IP you cooked up. It could be a sequel to something. I'll start with myself. I would like to see. It won't happen, but I would love to see The Last of Us 2 announced. Rob, what would you like to see? This is Sony's press conference.
A new Medieval.
Excellent choice. Ben, how about you?
New Ape Escape.
Oh, good. Gary, how about you?
A Siphon Filter on the PS4.
Brilliant. And finally, last but not least, Neil, how about you?
Oh, damn it. I can't think of one. You've taken most of the good ones. Silent Hills isn't cancelled. It's exclusive to PS4. There you go.
No. Even better.
Oh, I wish.
Silent Hills is cancelled, but they're just doing another Silent Hill instead.
Yeah, even great. And it's exclusive.
I would take any one of those games that you mentioned. They're all very, very good.
Sorry? Quiet Fountains,
not
right?
that
Yeah. I'm sure that'll be the next Kickstarter from one of the old Silent Hills guys, yeah.
Oh, that just makes me... There is a reason I haven't spoken about some of the Konami writer stories, is because that could have its own podcast, or at very least a massive discussion thing. Which
I think we've taken up about 2 of them with it already.
Oh, so. We have? Okay, well, there will be more, and I have a lot to say as well, but we will ragecast. Ben's just typed. Yeah, very good.
Remember when Konami announced a quiet figure with squeezable boobs?
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, God, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and we'll just end by saying that Konami's boss thinks that mobile gaming is the future, so we'll leave the news there.
He is just the font of wise knowledge.
What the hell is going on with Konami? That's all I can say. We will now move on to, like I said, we'll touch on some of these things probably in a rage cast. I think that's a brilliant idea, actually. We can just rant about things, not necessarily Konami, but anything. That's actually pretty good. We'll move on to some reviews now. Guys, thanks for your feedback on the news there. Rob, thanks for your input as well. That was really interesting, actually. It's good to...
Very, very welcome.
I'm going to bring up the big issue with the whole PlayStation 4 being hacked.
Oh, God. I don't know what to say about that at all. I don't know anything about hacking, so you guys can talk about it a bit if you want to.
I don't want to talk too much because I don't want to say how it's done.
Yeah, you can mention it. Sorry, go ahead. Before we start on the reviews, you can chat a bit about that, Ben, if you want to kind of like kick it off.
Well, I just want to see what everyone's opinion on the whole hacking situation. Well, it's not really.
A Sony console being hacked?
I know.
Blow me down with a feather. I've never heard of this before.
Egad.
I actually think it'll increase the sales of the PS4.
Oh, yeah. That's why the PSP did so well.
Yeah, that's why the PS2 did so well.
Yeah.
Software-wise, it'll cause a hell of a lot of issues. But actual hardware always gets benefited by the hacking.
Yeah, I think that's why. What was I going to say? The DS did so well as well in Japan because of the R4s and stuff.
Yeah. Oh God, yeah, that's true.
Then you got the Dreamcast, which had really bad software, but the hardware was still selling.
Was the Bleemcast the thing to
Yes,
make
that
it work?
basic software. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I was going to say that's
The
heresy,
best
mate.
software.
Dreamcast had brilliant games.
Look, guys, the Dreamcast died. Let's just get over it.
I will never get over it, Rob. Never.
Hey, it still lives on in some people's hearts.
They were still making games for it up until recently, I think. And yes, Rob, I think its use of the Bleemcast was the emulator. I think that played. That's how you got Tekken 3 on your Dreamcast.
Imagine doing Tekken 3 with that controller.
Oh,
Wow.
It was fine for Virtua Fighter, but I wouldn't want to play Tekken on it, to be honest.
No, yeah. I know what I do want to play on it. Shenmue, and I will this year. Every Christmas, 15 years old, man. I've got to play it at Christmas. Neil knows what I'm talking about.
I've still never played that game.
I like this. Perhaps I'll have another.
Yeah.
I still need to purchase that game one day.
Yeah.
I have a Dreamcast. I just don't have that game.
I have Shenmue 2, but I have Shenmue 1, so I should probably get it at some point.
I'm actually really surprised that they haven't released a HD version of that by now. I really am shocked because it was even meant to be in development at one point. It was. Well,
You want to know why?
Yeah, sure.
Sega.
So
It'll be a last chance saloon thing if they ever did it.
yeah, but
Sega
to be fair, they did release a lot of other kind of not obscure, but they did bring quite a few others to in the HD. They did Jet Set Radio. That wasn't like a mainstream title, was it? And they've done a couple of others as well.
Yeah, but then they were varying in quality because
There's a lot of extra work to do for Shenmue, I think, which makes it a bit of a
because
task.
while they did Jet Set Radio quite well in the HD transition, Sonic Adventure 2 was awful.
Yeah.
I mean, they fixed nothing in that game.
They just released the GameCube version. No, sorry, they released the GameCube version and removed the GameCube bits, and then let you actually get a DLC bit for the extra GameCube bits.
Yeah.
Same thing they did with the Sonic Adventure re-release. So
it just made Sonic fans very, very sad.
Oh.
yeah,
sad than ever.
that's the normal state for us Sonic fans, anyway.
It is.
Sonic
You just
fans
kick
are
our
the-
heels.
You know, I had a great time with Sonic Generations. I believe I have the highest review score for it on Metacritic for my PS3 review, but since then it's gone back down a bit again.
No. Gary, you shouted something at the back there. Sorry, what did you say, mate?
Oh, I said Sonic fans have been pissed off for like 15 years now. So
Yeah.
you can't hurt them anymore.
I have to admit, when I first got my Dreamcast in 1999 with Sonic Adventure, I loved it. I have to admit, I love Sonic Adventure. I played it recently. Well, no, actually, no, it was not recent. I keep thinking 2008 was last year for some reason. It's 6 years ago. Yeah, I last played it in 2008, but I still loved it then. For some reason.
I just want a download version of. I can never say the name right. Chow Garden.
Oh, the Chow Gardens,
Yeah,
yeah.
Chow Garden,
I
yeah.
just want that remade. That'd be it. Hell, even to have microtransactions.
In fact, yeah. Why isn't there a mobile version of the Chow Gardens stuff?
I know that is like perfect for it, but then
Yeah, they can make loads of money from that.
Free to play Chow Garden, where you can buy food for it using money.
Yeah, that's gonna be
Neil and I are just waiting for Streets of Rage.
Free to play Streets of Rage, buy extra characters.
I will buy. That's the game I'll spend all my money.
they've got Streets of Rage in that 3DS game coming out, haven't they?
Oh, they do,
What?
yeah. 3D Rage coming. Yeah.
Oh, what's the game called? It's that X something, isn't it? So it's like different franchises from different companies all
Project
together in the
X
same
Zone
game.
2.
That's it, yeah. Yeah, and Streets of Rage was announced as being a part of it.
Oh,
So like
Streets
it's
of Rage.
Namco, Capcom, and Sega. I believe,
Wait,
normally.
Streets of Rage characters are in there?
Yes, they are.
Oh, I'm pre-ordering that right now.
Hi, Gary.
Live on podcast.
Oh. Okay, let's try and grab the steering wheel there and kind of like back
Turf it back on.
to the reviews. We sort of touched on the hacking there, but I think we can leave more in depth for another time because I have to sleep at some point today to get up. But not that I'm rushing at all. We're not. We're in good time.
Gary's a Russian.
True. We're on to project reviews now. We've got Project Cars review by Simon Sayers. You do know who he is, Rob. I will just say that.
Okay, cool. I do definitely know who he is. Yeah, I don't.
It's actually Stephen. I don't know why he posts.
Oh, is it?
I don't know why he posts under this name. I really don't know because he doesn't get any credit for it at all.
To avoid any potential flack, perhaps. Maybe.
Yeah, well, he was with Steven Seagulls at once.
Seagull was the best. He was our best writer.
Yeah, that's, oh god. Simon gave oh, forget it. He gave this if I can actually, wow, it was like 55 comments on this story, man.
8.0 out of 10 he gave it, yeah.
Thank you, Rob. Yes, I couldn't even load up the damn page. God, I hate
The final word. Issues with AI hold it back from greatness, but Project Cars is on the right track with its sandbox career. Community-focused online experience and A-grade car handling mechanics, said Simon Sayers.
I'm finally there. Thank you, Rob. That was brilliant. I was very tempted just to hand you the microphone. Thank you very much, Rob. Stephen put his plus points as sandbox experience lets you play how you want and dive straight in with your favorite cars and tracks. The stunning roster of tracks with incredible detail and impressive weather effects and day and night transitions. And the car handling feels realistic and races are exciting. However, he disliked the inconsistent AI, but occasionally behaves like amateurs on the track. The glitches, such as cars ghosting through you. And finally, with third-person cam switched on during races, some cars look a little cartoony due to vibrant colours. So a bit of wacky races going on there, sounds like.
So with this, the crew, and Drive Club, I'm never 100% sure which one is which and which has got which feature. They all seem to be kind of community-driven car racing games, which is awesome. That's cool. I think like Need for Speed has definitely proved that's a thing that makes racing games good.
Yeah.
What was the specific, the unique selling point of Project Cars over the other two? Do you know?
I think it was hardcore. It was hardcore.
It was hardcore. Oh yes, it was simulation style, wasn't it? Like Gran Turismo and Forza.
Yeah,
okay.
I've played it. I played it at a Namco event, and it was. I'm not that good at racing games, but even I could tell it was the hardest of the hardcore. Seriously, yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I heard they even had they modelled cold and warm tyre mechanics, which is pretty impressive. So
I thought Gran Turismo did that at one point anyway.
It probably does. Probably has. Yeah.
But yeah, I tried Project Cars at Eurogamer last year. I just crashed into a wall.
Yeah, I did that a lot. Yeah, and the flipping PR guy was looking over my shoulder as well. It was so embarrassing. And he was like, he was very patronising. And he was sort of like, "Oh, go on, you're doing well. Go on." Oh, that's a shame. It was like, yeah. Gary, Neil, have you guys played Project Cars or got Project Cars at all?
I have not, no.
Okay, Neil?
No, I hate sim racers. They're boring.
Okay.
The only racers that are good are kart games with Mario in them and Burnout.
Yeah, they are.
And Burnout.
Yeah, I just want a sequel to Paradise.
Yeah, that's it.
We all want a sequel to Paradise, but we need to actually do our jobs. We need to do jobs to earn money so we continue living and not just like die playing Burnout Paradise 2. You know,
Oh dear. Okay, next up we have The Evil Within, the Consequence review. This is the second story-based DLC for The Evil Within, reviewed by yours truly. I gave this a 7.5 out of 10. The final word. Despite some annoying issues, The Consequence is an engaging slice of DLC to complement The Evil Within's twisted game world. I enjoyed the great atmosphere, the solid exposition, and sporadic gunplay is welcome addition, because you don't really get to do a lot of shooting in this. It's more stealth-based, it actually sounds worse than it is. It's quite enjoyable, but it's really cool. You actually get to shoot things in the face. I dislike the one-hit kills, which prove frustrating. Bloody does. And the poor stamina system. Literally, you'll be running away from an enemy, and you have about under 10 seconds worth of stamina. And if it runs out, she stops in the middle of what she's doing and literally goes, to catch her breath. So yeah, it's like, excuse me, monster with giant axe. Just 1 sec. Okay, let's go.
Mike, there's like one negative point missing, and I'm assuming it's not Resident Evil.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, well,
it's like playing Battlefield, and you realize you're like the worst soldier because you run out of breath in like 5 seconds.
They do that in Battlefield. So.
When you combine that with one-hit kills, it's really, really frustrating. But it's good. I don't know who's actually played The Evil Within here.
I have,
unfortunately.
Okay. You didn't like it then, Rob?
No, I just haven't got around to playing. I hear it's very good. I don't think I've got a system it plays on. So.
All right. Okay. Oh, sorry. I thought you said I have, unfortunately.
No, I said I haven't. I think Gary said he had. So yeah.
Gary said.
Yeah, Gary. Did you like it?
I did to a point. I thought the game was super hard towards the later points when you have like no ammo and you have to kill like 15 enemies.
Yeah.
In order to progress, you're like, how am I supposed to do this? Melee kill?
It was not Resident Evil 4 style where you get tons of ammo from every kill you get. It was actually a lot. It is there is a lot of there's a need to hoard your ammo in that game for the right spots, which means a lot of trial and error. So yeah, did you ever play any of the DLC, Gary?
No, I was actually thinking of buying it, and then I saw they were like $9.99 a piece, and I'm like, I just bought like 4 games for $9.99 a piece, full games.
Well, if you do get the chance to pick it up cheap, because it's no doubt going to drop in price at some point, you'll probably like it. It's really good from a story point of view, and the gameplay is pretty good as well. So I recommend it if you like the Evil Within, definitely. But yeah, I quite enjoyed the Evil Within anyway. I thought it was pretty good. It kind of got a bit bloated. It was probably longer than it should have been, but it had some really good. It had some really good parts to it, and I'd like to see a sequel definitely because it's Shinji Mikami. He does some great horror games. So but yeah, he did that Resident Evil game, didn't he, Shinji Mikami? Yeah,
that there is Resident Evil. That Devil May Cry.
Yeah, exactly. That Resident Evil. He knows his stuff. So I was really happy he came back to the horror space again. So yeah. Okay. Next up, chaps, we have Wolfenstein: The Old Blood PS4 review. Out with the new, in with the old, says Neil Bolt. Neil, you gave this a 7.5 out of 10. You summarised, a lovely, bloody and bullet-riddled trip down memory lane is soured somewhat from reaching the weaker second act that serves to remind how much nostalgia is too much. Thankfully, the Old Blood is still ultimately satisfying, an ultimately satisfying addition to the Wolfenstein family. Plus points are returning to Castle Wolfenstein. The streamlined inventory actually benefits the game, and the same satisfying mechanics as New Order. Downsides are second act falls short, that it retreads a lot of old ground, and sporting characters are not fleshed out enough. Neil, just want to quickly chat about that for a sec. So, not bad then.
No, I really liked it. It's just for what it was, a 15 quid shot of Wolfenstein New Order, effectively, which was surprisingly good last year. Despite some of its weaknesses, I liked mostly because within the first 10 minutes it's there reminding me of one of my favourite games, Return to Castle Wolfenstein. Doing the whole ascent to the castle, which has been slightly redesigned, but still essentially looks kind of the same. And it's just, it's great. And then that whole modern Wolfenstein thing they did with the New Order starts kicking in with the dialogue and the narration and like that. And it's just a nice little blend to begin with. And the first half is just, pared back versions of the enemies you face in the New Order. But you sort of see where technologically they'll go forward in that game. Sorry, Gary, go on.
No, sorry, go ahead. I was just going to say, I really liked how they brought back the supernatural stuff.
Yeah, well, I'll get to that in a sec.
Sorry.
That's right. No, it's a whole good point there, too. And I liked that it was just going through the castle and then having to escape from the castle, and just the whole just being Nazis again was great. But for me, that is where it fell down, was that second half where the paranormal just got a little too involved. And it's like, back in the day, that was fine because it wasn't really quite as big a thing as it is now. But the 2009 game did it. And it was rubbish because it was a very poor imitation of Return to Castle Wolfenstein. And the zombie undead thing has been played out to death already. And if you're not going to add anything original to it, then you're just going to be another zombie shooty game. Sadly, that's what, for me, the second half of the game becomes. It's just an endless sway through shuffling corpses and the odd good bit. And then the end boss was just...
very dull.
It was really an understatement. I mean, technically, I would say at the halfway point, the boss fight, which I won't say obviously for spoiler reasons, but Gary, you will know a certain dog-loving aficionado there. he is who is probably the best new character by far. That guy, the enemy. That boss battle was more fun just because of the dialogue in it. Him constantly insulting you in all these very German, very straightforward insults. So they're basically just saying, I'm going to kill you because this way, that way, and the other way. And it's a shame that it sort of dips in that second half. But I don't know, for the price and for what it has in it, it does enough overall for me.
But It is pretty long. I finished it in like 7 hours.
I honestly think I spent more time on it than I did on the New Order for the first run through. It's just crazy because I wanted to be so stealthy in the first half of the game.
Yeah.
Which is another one of my minor annoyances, whereas in the New Order I could get away with that a bit more. There were a couple of times this time where you just seemed bound to get caught, and I don't know if it's a design problem or it was throwing you that curveball, like I said in the review, of just saying, well, you expect you'll not get caught out here, but the section designed surely for you to go through it without being seen, because you have the officers, which if you take them out, it stops alerts happening and stuff. But yeah, the first time I did that, I shot one of the officers, and then the other one got alerted because some other soldier saw that officer go down, and yet in another section it wouldn't happen. It was a bit weird in that sense. I think in a way it's Machine Games getting trying to bring it full circle again with their reboot of the series and just sort of homaging what's come before. And I really do hope they get to do a proper sequel and just sort of push on with what they were doing, because they had some really good, fresh ideas to marry to very traditional mechanics in the New Order, and that's what I want. I want more of that one. But yeah, if you enjoyed that game at all and you like old school shooters, and there's more of the the secret old school Wolfenstein 3D levels in there this time, which were they're fun, but maybe a little too many this time. Yeah, I mean, if you like any of that, for the money it's more than worth it, I think.
Awesome, man. Cheers for that. I haven't played Wolfenstein at all, but those games, so which is a shame, but they sound pretty cool. And you're right about zombies being done to death, totally. Definitely.
Yeah, I mean, that's a game that's done them years before they were a big thing, and yet it is just, it's that side of it that just doesn't need retreading for now. Because in the New Order, they pushed away from that and went with more like what would happen if enough time had passed and you've got all this extra tech that they've built with their shady goings on. And I like that more than just resurrecting the dead and shooting Nazi zombies. We've done Nazi zombies so many times. Even this year, it's been done. It's again.
Kill.
Yes, and Nazis on their own are fine to kill. Nazis who are in mech suits are fine to kill, but yeah, but zombies no. So even Nazi dogs are fun to kill still.
Oh, sweet. Well, let's move on now, guys. Towards the end, and talk about a bit what we've been playing briefly. Rob, since you're the guest and you haven't been on for ages, we'll start with you if that's all right. If you've had time to play any games, because you're a pretty busy guy.
I have a couple of minor things. I've been slowly playing through the Majora's Mask re-release on 3DS, which is quite important to me because it was one of my first console games, and I think the first proper Christmas video game I asked for Christmas at one point, and I played it once, 100%ed it once. Back in 2001, so I literally haven't touched it since. So having it back and having all these memories kind of dredged up and and realizing I have lots of this muscle memory for certain things I didn't even know I had was kind of cool. I keep playing it in bursts. I'll do one bit and I'll take a break and play something else. I just finished Link Between Worlds, which is just dropped my mic on my keyboard somehow. I don't know how I did that. Sorry, let me start. Sorry, I was playing Link Between Worlds and punching my microphone. Which is very fun. That was the 3DS one, which was a sequel to Link to the Past. It was literally called Kami-sama no Triforce 2 in Japan. Link to the Past being Kami-sama no Triforce in Japan. So yeah. Right. Even had the I don't know if you ever saw the old Japanese advert for Link to the Past where it was Gero Densetsu Zero no Densetsu, and then they kind of they got the guy back 20 years later to do an advert of the same song for Link Between Worlds in Japan. So it's amazing. That was fun. 200cc Mario Kart 8 has been a lot of fun, and the new tracks are great. I always like having Game Boy Advance tracks in new Mario Kart games because I have a lot of love for Super Circuit. But the main game, the big game I want to talk about, which will soon be coming to PS4, so it's not just something that is on a Nintendo console, is the fantastic kickstarted indie Sentai tactical RPG Chroma Squad. Don't know if any of you guys have heard of it at all.
I have. I've heard the name. Yeah.
Okay, so I kickstarted this about 2 years ago, and it's a pixel graphics tactical RPG like Final Fantasy Tactics or Advance Wars or something like that, or the Mega Man NT games if you ever played those. And you play as Power Rangers, basically. Sentai is the Japanese term for what we know as Power Rangers, Super Sentai in particular.
Oh, yeah.
It's a tactical RPG, turn-based, and you have your squad of 5 heroes, which can increase by the late last season, depending on your choices. And you fight through episodes in seasons, where you got to kind of move your teammates around the map and kill things, as you would normally do in a tactical RPG. And like the story develops in kind of weird and crazy ways, and there's a lot you can take away from it. There's certain different endings, so there's multiple playthroughs. There are mecha fights as well, so you get in your Megazord and you punch stuff. It's great. But the key thing about it that I really want to talk about is that when we talk about RPG games in video games, literally it stands for role-playing games. And what we think about is hitting things to get experience so you can develop your strength or what have you. We don't actually think about the role-playing side of video games. Now, I know people who role-played as their Shepard in Mass Effect, and I'm sure there are other video games and people who have tried to role-play their character, but Chroma Squad is the first game I've ever played where it incentivizes and encourages you to properly role-play. You earn kind of points-ish / money to spend throughout each episode by appeasing your fans and filling up your fan meter, your audience meter, as you go. And this increases by doing director's orders, and in general, just like doing very Power Ranger-y style things, like using teammates to flip each other and like doing like a team attack, and also by finishing off each round with like a finishing move, like put them together, guys. Power Axe, Power Bow, Power Daggers, Power Sword, and creating the big Power Blast or whatever they called it in Power Rangers, and like basically doing that to kill the final boss of the thing. And you're not allowed. You can do that whenever you want to during a fight, but you actually kind of lose a bit of audience for doing it. So you can save it for the end, and I like that a lot because whenever I've played old tactical RPG games, that's always how I played it. Like very specifically, and I'm sure no one here will have heard of it or played it, and even anyone listening to will know of it. But there was a very old Tenchi Muyo game for the Super Nintendo, or the Super Famicom, I guess, in Japan, and I had a ROM of it.
Oh yeah, I heard of it.
You heard of it? Yes.
I love Tenchi Muyo.
So each character had like 8 levels, which was really weird. They could level up to, and when you got to like level 7, level 8, they got this ridiculously powerful super move, and you could use it whenever. It was based on mana or what have you. And I think that kind of recharged as you went. But I would always save it for the final boss attack, even though I didn't really need to or what have you. And there are other tactical RPG games where it is kind of like that, where you kind of, and in games in general, you always feel you should save your most powerful attack for the end, but you don't really need to. Whereas in Chroma Squad, it incentivizes you doing that, which is part of the roleplay aspect, and I really dig that. And aside from that, there's a great like management system for upgrading your Megazord, your team. You can do marketing stuff. You hire different marketing teams to get you either more fans, which gives you ability to do more marketing, or you can do stuff to get more crafting equipment to craft more stuff, or more money to buy new stuff. You can craft or buy costumes, and there are different ones you can either craft or buy. So like there's normally a style and slight stat changes between them, although you can buy all your costumes and you'll be as powerful as if you crafted all your costumes. It's very much down to personal taste. And like each season, like each of your squad mates have got like different techniques for their class. So you've got the lead, which is the Red Ranger, basically. Like he has a lot of kind of stat buffs for the whole team. You've got the medic, the assist, who kind of has a lot of long range of things like making people have less health. You've got the assault class, which has got extra strength, and the scout class, which can move further. And like they get more skills as you go to kind of create this, and then you develop tactics around that. So yeah, it's really deep, also quite simple, a great fun story, and the role playing aspect of it is ridiculous. And I wasn't expecting it at all, and I'm glad it's kind of in there. Also, it's got this amazing kind of like faux Japanese kind of 80s Toku theme tune, which basically describes how you play the game, and it's amazing. And it's just the best, and I love it so much. And I'm a massive Power Rangers Super Sentai fanboy, so it scratched every itch I've had. And, so yeah, and it's coming to PS4 and Vitas very soon, I think. I don't know the exact date, but I would hazard a guess that you'll see, if they do like this whole kind of, here's like 7 indie games playing at the same time at E3, one of those will be Chroma Squad. I'm gonna say that now, although it will be on a show reel somewhere, because yeah, it's gonna be a really great game. I'm looking forward for you guys to actually play it because it's so very, very good.
It does sound actually quite interesting.
Yes, I can sell it very well as well. So
it's funny. You mentioned about. First of all, that sounds really cool. A nice one there, Rob. That was interesting. For some reason, I've just typed in Power Rangers Bulk and Skull into.
Well, for some reason, you know the exact reason you put that in.
Yeah, I do. I did love me some Power Rangers. Anyway, thanks for that, Rob.
Very welcome.
That's pretty much it for you. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm also playing through Skyward Sword, the second Wii Zelda game, but I haven't really got too far into that just yet. And I just really want to talk about Chroma Squad to people who will likely play it soon. So
Sweet. Okay, let's move on to Neil. How about you, buddy?
Ooh, feeding in nicely from the old role playing to a degree. It's like I was thinking the whole way through that thing, and I hope he picks me next because I can relate somewhat. So. But yeah, XCOM, anyway, Unknown / Within on PC at the minute. Went back to my PSU's team run through. So me being Commander-in-Chief, having all you PSU guys as my squad. And
I died for a game, didn't I?
You did, yeah. Gary is long since gone. So.
Am I dead yet?
No, you're still alive, Tilly.
Yes.
You're like mech now as well, which is, I thought was just like totally appropriate for Jay. Yeah, I continue to love XCOM more than pretty much any game ever. It's just the gift that keeps on giving. So when I got to like 220 hours of GTA 5 earlier this year, I thought, surely there's no game that's going to beat that. And it's like that. But yeah, XCOM has just shot way, way past that, I think, at this point. It's, I'm about halfway through a nice hardcore Iron Man, and it's going a bit to pot, and I've got to the point where your base gets attacked by the aliens, and I always hate that mission on the higher difficulties, because if you mess it up, that's it. It's game over straight away. But yeah, so far no one has died in that mission, but I sort of had to step away, leave it, and I think I'll come back to another time, because it's just majorly stressful, because once someone's dead, that's it. They're gone. They're out. And that's one of the two big hooks for me with that is, having people in the game makes it more relatable to you straight away, because you want your friends and your family to do well and not die and all like that. So my wife was once very bemused that she got killed off within 2 missions of a run through. And it's just that particular mission I've always find terribly, terribly hard to get through. Without, because you just at that point you've built up some really good squad of players, and like so with Chili, he's like flamethrower mech,
Yes.
and with a good old super punch. And it's just if you lose people like that in that mission, it almost feels like a dick move, but it's not. It just adds enough to the game. It's I want to get through this playthrough basically because I want to go Long War, the old mod for it, which basically just takes the campaign on and on and on and on and on as long as you can go, basically, and get beyond that. But yeah, that's been the main thing I've enjoyed this week, I would say. The other, probably while I was in Butlins, and of course my only respite was my Vita, was I had a good old go on Worms Revolution Extreme, having a bit of good time on that. But yeah, it just gets so brutal so quickly. It's just the AI gets to the point where they pull off magic shots effectively, and you're just having them. It's like, that wind assist would surely not help them make that shot. No, they made that shot. It's like that. And it just starts piling it on you. So, you always only get 4 worms, but then they get 5 worms, 6 worms, 7 worms, 8 worms. And at one point, I think it's currently about 10. you're facing off her, and you pretty much get it down to you're like 4-on-4, and then just one lucky missile, not half your team out straight away, and the other two will fall in the water, and you've run out of things to get them out of it, and it's getting to that annoying stage now where I may have to step away for a while and come back later when I'm a bit more patient with it. So that's really been it. As I said, being away for most of the week, I haven't really got to play. I picked up Unity for about 5 minutes on Saturday night and thought, I just don't feel like it, and put it back down again. Played some PES, which I never care to mention too often because I always play PES. So, which again goes back into that role-playing thing because I always put a bunch of people I know in it. The old Master League. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Cool, man. Nice one. Gary, how about you?
I have been playing a lot, actually.
Ooh.
I've been playing Xenoblade Chronicles on my 3DS.
Yeah.
It's like the biggest game I've ever played. Like, it just doesn't end. There's just always something to do. But I'm playing that. I'm playing Watch Dogs, unfortunately. I played it for like an hour after it came out, and I was so disappointed that I stopped playing it. And now I'm trying to finish it because I have nothing to play right now while I wait for The Witcher 3. So may as well get that done and out with.
The writing in Watch Dogs is so.
You know what it is? Early on, straight away, you just think, Aiden Pierce, you are the biggest tool in the world. It's like, I'm not going to like you. No, there's nothing you can do in this game. You've already dealt out your woe is me card, and I still don't care. So there's nothing coming that's going to make me care anymore for you.
Sorry, can I just visit really, really quickly one of those impromptu things? Gary, I was just reading your Twitter while you were talking, and I just had to laugh my ass off at what you tweeted here. It's from the guy who pretends to be Kaz Hirai, CEO Kaz Hirai. He says, Konami will hold an E3 press conference to announce all the exciting games they plan to cancel. That's great. That's brilliant. Well tweeted. Well retweeted. Sorry, dude, carry on.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah.
Let's see. I've been playing Wolfenstein: The New Order. I finished that up. Tried some challenges in that game. They were super brutal and hard, so I'm like, I don't want to
do really, are they? It's like, I thought, this would be a nice extra addition to the game. And it's like, no.
Yeah, it's way too brutal. Even the first challenge is like, really? This is way too hard.
It's like, even on lower difficulties, it's almost like it says, oh, you don't have a mouse and a keyboard? Well, tough.
Yeah, exactly. So there's that. I've been playing Resident Evil Revelations 2.
Yeah, I've seen you on that, actually. Yeah, online.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I finished that game. I did a lot of raid mode missions already.
Yeah, it's addictive, isn't it?
It is addicting. The only thing I don't like about raid mode is they start repeating the same levels on the difficulties, which I'm just like, I don't want to play these levels already.
Yeah.
But what was the one that's like really super hard? The casino one from the first Revelations. Man, that thing is brutal.
I know.
Like, run, nowhere to hide, nothing. You just get owned by 10 guys.
Yeah, that giant git with the chainsaw arm or whatever it is who was in the first game.
Yeah, he has like the worst weak spot that's like impossible to hit because it's so small.
Yeah.
It's like really like wasted so much ammo on that guy.
Yeah, I know how you feel there. Did you enjoy it?
The hard mode, like on the hard mode, like you may as well skip that one because you're never going to get through it.
Totally. What did you think of the game, by the way?
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed how the story started. A little spoilers here. I liked how it takes place 6 months apart from each other.
Yeah, that was a surprise, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool, but towards the end, I became very disappointed with it. One, again, I think they're trying to keep Wesker alive in some way, shape, or form, so they like introduce his sister.
Yeah.
Okay, but she didn't do anything in that game. Like they only showed her face in the last chapter of the game, and I'm just like,
that was odd.
You know, I liked it how it started, but towards the end, I'm just like, they're trying to bring back stuff that they already killed off or stopped, and it's just not working
Jesus.
for them. In my opinion, it really is not working for them. They either need to reboot it at this point and bring back Umbrella, or just bring back Umbrella in general, because all these other things are so. He has clones of himself. He has kids. He has sisters now. It's like
It's almost the movies now.
Just bring him back at this point. There's no reason to do this. Just bring him back, and everybody will be happy. But yeah, I like Claire. I don't like Moira.
Moira.
Yeah, I didn't like her at all. I just thought she was irritating as hell. I hope she dies. And then I'm like, oh, you should have died. And yeah, but yeah. Other than that, I did enjoy it. I was kind of sad that the game looked worse than Resident Evil 5 did graphically.
Yeah, I know. It was really, really shockingly bad for a Resident Evil game, but probably because it was a small budget title, I guess.
You know what it did look better than?
What?
Operation Raccoon City.
Don't let Dane hear you say that.
It plays better as well. I haven't played it, but
Anything does.
Yeah.
Feces on a stick plays better than Operation Raccoon City.
Yeah, I also felt like the monsters, like they could have used more. I felt like I was fighting the same 4 or 5 enemies the entire game.
Yeah.
They could have used more, and obviously there's pretty much just one boss fight in the whole game.
Yeah.
Well, I consider it usually the one boss fight.
But I have to admit, being able to play as Barry Burton again was just so awesome for me.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
Like I was so happy. I was like, yes, Barry, he's still awesome. He starts the game off with his Magnum Python, and I was like, yes, the most powerful weapon in the game right off the bat.
Did you get the real ending at all? Did you get the good ending?
Yes, I got it on my first try. I didn't know there was a second.
Oh, right, because I got the bad ending, and I was like so gutted, and I was like, "Is that it? Seriously?" And I found out there was another ending. But it's so awesome that it's so awesome that they use some great Barry quotes in there, isn't it? You know, when he goes, "I have this."
Yeah,
he turns to the camera all badass. You know, it's just like, yes, Barry Burton.
Yeah, and that one part where he unlocks the door and is like, "Now I'm the master of unlocking." It's like, damn, it was great.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was glad to see Claire back. I thought she was great in that game, even though she really didn't have a story in that game. It was pretty much Barry's story, not Claire's. So I don't really understand why she was in the game. She really had no connection to anybody in that game at all, which kind of made me sad.
Yeah. Well, I suppose
and then she ended up looking like Jill at the end of the game. I was like, is that Jill?
Yeah.
I was like, that would be cool. Like, I think Jill would have been a better character to use in that game because she has a connection with Barry, but Claire was very just on her own.
Yeah, no Chris, no Leon.
Yeah, nobody. It's just her. I think it was just them bringing back a character that people wanted to see again.
Yeah. I wonder where they go from here.
Well, where is there to go? You already did a global conflict. You did so much already.
Space.
They will.
Zombies.
They will.
There you go. Zombies.
Space.
It'll either be space or time travel. I guarantee you.
Oh no! Please.
I remember when we talked about this in our Resident Evil podcast, and I still think they should do it again. Just go back to some small little town where some zombie outbreak has happened. You think all the viruses are done. Umbrella is somehow still operational. You pick 2 characters and everybody else is a supporting role, and you finish it off that way.
Yeah. Either that or New Outbreak.
Yeah. Yeah, quite right.
So
like, just go back to your roots. Yeah.
Zombies are getting a virus to become new zombies. We've got to stop it.
I guarantee. I actually think that the end boss fight of Resident Evil 7 will be something like the end of the Matrix Revolutions. Except Chris will get in a cloning machine and they have like 100 of his clones fighting 100 of Wesker's clones. And it'll just be like a clusterfuck.
Chris, Leon by himself is already better than Kratos. He can do it.
Yeah, well then at the end, when all the Chris clones have been defeated, Leon will just suddenly appear. Floating in the sky, and he'll start hurling fireballs at all. And
roundhouse kicking.
That's it. It will basically be Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah.
But why Wesker clones? Why not just the Wesker family clones?
Because that's all they
Could
are.
have his
Let's face
sister,
it.
his
They're probably all inbred anyway. So
Spencer will come back in a wheelchair.
based on the dialogue of early Resident Evil games, they're probably all inbred, to be honest. But
Yep.
That's awesome.
there's something not right.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there's that, and one more game I've been playing is a game called Torin, which I'll be writing for in a little bit here, probably today.
Oh, cool.
Time, so stay tuned for that. I can't talk about the game because it's already out. So
Yeah, I've heard mixed things so far.
yeah, it's a little weird. Like it's beautiful graphically, in my opinion, and the music is great, but like the story is incredibly hard to follow. But I actually was able to follow it quite well, so I actually enjoyed the way they presented the story. I know a lot of people won't even understand what happened in that game, because it is quite difficult to follow. But I enjoyed it to a point. I think the price for it is definitely better than the price for what was it, Titan Souls is, especially for the length of that game. But yeah, it's stay tuned for my review. It's an enjoyable game in my opinion.
Cool. Cheers for that, Gary. Ben, we probably have to start wrapping up soon. So just sort of briefly, what games have you been playing? And then I'll finish off.
I've been playing some Pharmacy 11 again because they have a sale, and I thought I'd go back to my roots on that old game. I've been playing, of course, one of the greatest games ever made in the history of games, Goat Simulator.
Sonic 3? Oh, Goat Simulator.
The new Goat Simulator expansion pack, Goat Z, which is a survival horror zombie goat simulator.
Oh my god.
It is amazing. Basically, you play a zombie goat and you got to survive as long as you can from other zombies. You can even turn everything into zombies.
There you go. That's how Wolfenstein should have gone, basically, in the second half.
You can turn elephants into zombies and then watch them rampage around the whole city. So yeah, apart from that, Warframe, I spent some more money on that game already.
How much is time?
I spent about, I think it was £22.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah.
I'll let you on.
So yeah.
That's just this week.
Yeah, I must have spent about 500 quid on that game.
Yeah, I'm guilty of that on War Thunder too.
I know the next time I'll spend like 50 odd quid will be in about a month and a half when the new Prime Access gets announced, because I always buy those. Those happen like every 3 months.
Uh-huh.
They're about 40 quid, and every 3 months you get some exclusive items and 90 days of double XP and double credits. So that ties you on till the next 3 months. And then you sat there going, where's the next one? I want it. Why can't I give you my money?
You're getting addicted. Warframe is Ben's crack.
I want to spend all my monies. Why won't you take it?
Try and save something.
Anyway.
There's bound to be a lot of games you'll want later this year.
Oh, yeah. Well, especially June. June's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And by the time you'll be hearing this, because it's the future, but right now it's the past.
Or is it the present?
But it'll be the past of the person listening to this, but he'll be listening in the future. But to us,
How do we know? What if they've gone back in time to listen to it what time we were recording it?
they're wizards. And
They are wizards.
I'll probably be playing Farming Simulator 15 by then.
Oh, yeah, of course, yeah.
Which has an awesome collector's edition.
I want that collector's edition, but I don't know how you get it.
I know. It's just a picnic basket with
I want it.
like wine and cheese and stuff like that.
What, are you serious?
Yeah, seriously. It's a picnic basket.
Yeah, you get a bottle of like wine. It's all custom as well because it all has Farming Simulator 2015 on them. So
Is it real cheese and stuff?
yeah, it's real cheese. It's real
Oh
wine.
my god.
It's a proper picnic basket,
Oh, brilliant.
and I want it. I want that collector's edition.
There you go. I'm posting it in the chat in a sec.
I don't know how you get it though. There you go. Nice one, Neil.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because obviously the pictures are great for a visual medium like a podcast. Let me.
I was going to describe it as well. You know. So,
Let's describe this amazing photo that's popped up in my thing. So it's a wonderful, faux wooden crate box with lovely kind of packing at the bottom, with a 2012 farming simulator, a red wine, what looks like some camembert, some marmalade chutney of some kind,
It does look like that, yeah.
and what's that?
I
There's
think
like
it's a canned ham, isn't it?
Yeah,
canned
canned
ham.
ham.
Wow, lovely. And a copy of the game,
And there's I think there's like an art book or something at the back as well.
or a guide or something like that. Yeah, and possibly what looks like a leaflet to become a farmer yourself,
Yeah.
and a cowl eraser with the farming simulator logo on it.
It's like a keychain or an eraser or something. Yeah.
This is like, I want that collector's edition. I just don't know how
Yeah.
to get it.
I want that fucking wine. I want to do like a taste test with the wine and get like tasting notes for Farming Simulator branded wine.
And then we could just do like a series of wines
But
based on
why
the
are we
game.
getting the 2012 wine with the 2015 game?
Oh, chili. Do you know nothing about wine? Do you know that wine has to age for
Yeah,
taste of
but
it?
But I thought it'd be more than
Especially
3 years.
video game themed wines. Come on.
Yeah, cheap ass video game themed wine, which probably won't last very long if you just got the 2015 one and try to let it age for like 10 years, something like that. Will turn to piss.
They probably bought it from Aldi and just slapped the label on.
Yeah.
And the tractors look so detailed in this game.
It is.
I really
I'm
can't
still
wait for
looking
this
at
game.
screenshots. I'm like,
Does
yeah,
Farming
that's
Simulator
all-
run at 60 frames per second? That's the most important question.
No, but it does have co-op.
Excellent.
16 players, last I knew. 16
this
player
game is going to have
online.
best Let's Play videos ever. People just
yeah.
messing each other up and digging around.
I
gonna be
love
great.
this game. So, in fact, it comes out the same day as The Witcher, and I'm skipping The Witcher for this.
I'm
not
They're,
joking.
they're really popular in Europe, these games are, Farming Simulator. I think
Yeah,
the last one sold like 1 million or something.
Germany in
My mate, Pooh of
particular.
Eyes is going to be buying it as well.
You're what?
My mate on Twitter, Pooh of Eyes. He is.
Oh, right. I wonder what the hell you said there.
Yeah, he said poo with eyes.
Yeah.
Is that all the games you've been playing, Ben? If we steer back.
Yeah, that's pretty much it, I think. Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll wrap up. I won't waste time talking much of it. So I've mostly just been on War Thunder again, just playing low level tier fighting because I enjoy it much more. It's not just boom and you're dead. You have to actually dogfight, which I like more. I've been on Destiny because they got some new stuff on there finally, and ahead of House of Wolves. So I've been doing some new bounties, and I think pretty much that's been it. I'm sure there was another game I've been on. Oh, of course, yes. I've been on Life is Strange episode 3, which I will be reviewing, but that's not actually out yet, so I can't talk about it. It's out on Tuesday and Wednesday, I think, for US and UK respectively.
I found the last one came out on Tuesday as well. Yeah, episode 2.
Yeah.
If you search for it, you can actually get it. I found it. I got it the day before because when I booted it up, because I was showing my mate it,
All right.
it was actually downloadable in the game like a day earlier than the store update.
All right. Sweet.
It's a
Open
top
episode.
PSU top tip. Check the day before to see if it's up there.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
hope so. Because
Yeah.
I love Life is Strange. It's amazing.
Oh, you like it, do you? Good. I'm glad.
Yeah, I remember. I went to that event last year for it.
Oh, of course, yeah. No, I like it as well. I really like it as well. I'm glad I've got another fan there. Well, Ben, you will love. I mean, I can't talk about it, but I'll just say you should love this episode. I mean, seriously, things really do change a lot in this episode. I'll leave it there, and I'll talk more. I'll go into a bit more detail on the next podcast. But yeah, this was wow.
I got the bad ending for the last episode. So
Yeah, me too. Yeah, what you mean with the girl doing that?
Don't say anymore because
I'm not.
yeah, but yeah, the last episode I got the bad ending. So
Yeah.
You guys suck at making decisions, don't you?
Yeah. Actually, no. I thought I was doing really, really well with it, and then for some reason it went bad all of a sudden.
that sounds
I'm
like
still
pretty much.
not sticking with you guys during the zombie apocalypse.
It sounds like pretty much every decision in Game of Thrones. It's just like there is no good decisions there.
I learned from that game that I'm not a good teenage girl, which luckily.
Yeah, just
Well, so far I found I'm quite the teenage girl.
But
I don't know if that's a good
help,
thing.
Though, that I stream the episodes and then I have the people in the chat decide.
oh, okay.
Oh, so you make erratic, irrational decisions. You sound like a perfect teenage girl then.
I have to have a translator next to me so I know what they're saying half the time because I'm an old git.
What is a cheeky Nando's? What does she want?
What the hell does hella mean?
Hey, you're not that much older than me.
No, I know, I'm only joking, but yeah, they've got their own language though. That's what I like about it. It seems really, really authentic because that's how people talk. I've heard them. I've heard.
Yeah, no, it's.
Yeah, I've heard them.
When I saw people going, "Oh, well, teenagers don't talk like that," I go, "You've never met a teenager, sure?"
Yeah, exactly.
Because they do.
They
really
do. Yeah, I've heard it on the bus, on the train, or just walking in the street. I've heard them talking on their phones. They do talk like that. They've got their own lingo.
Man, it sounds like Mike's been stalking teenagers.
on the bus.
No, for research purposes.
Sure.
Yes.
No, I travel a lot, so I'm always around lots of people. Unfortunately, it's kind of you can't avoid them, sadly. But yeah, really good episode that is. So yeah, definitely get that. Right, we should probably wrap up now because it's 9:30 here, and I need to get my beauty sleep. Not really. We've actually come to the end of the podcast anyway. So yeah. Well, I'm just trying to think what we normally do. Oh yes, contacts.
You have
Well,
that email to read out as well, remember?
don't worry, I haven't forgotten. Going to do that.
Yay.
Yeah.
He's going to finish on a high.
Yeah, on a high, yes. If you want to contact me, guys, you can contact me at mike.harroditz@psu.com, or you can email the podcast team in general at podcast@psu.com. Rob, are you interested in getting some Twitter followers? If you want to, you can read out your contact details.
Yeah, sure. If you want to follow me on Twitter, it's at Rob Thez, Romeo Oscar Bravo, Tango Hotel Echo Zulu, ROBTHEZ, Rob the Z, if you wish. You can hear my hot takes on Super Sentai and Kamen Rider and Power Rangers, taking the piss out of everyone's favourite hate mob hashtag as well, which we won't, I guess, say the name of specifically in here. And general just me sometimes posting cool food photos, and not like, just Instagram Nando's. I'm talking about like I made bagels last week and they were pretty cool. But in general, just some fun stuff, and I think I'm funny, maybe, who knows. And some dumb pictures. Yeah, so that's Rob Thez again. You can contact that. And also, if you want to read my stuff, I write for Linux User and Developer magazine. It's mostly very techy. I do try and bring a bit of lightheartedness to it, and we do some really cool Raspberry Pi stuff in there. So if you've got a Raspberry Pi and you're thinking of cool things to do with it, or whether yourself or with your kid, we have lots of really cool stuff with robots and projects with cameras and we did like a Minecraft console on the next one, so you can make a console that plays Minecraft using a Raspberry Pi. So that's me.
Awesome, man. Cheers for that. Ben, how about you?
You can stalk me at chili_UK, ben.shillabithull at psu.com, chili on PSN, chili on NeoGAF, at your house.
Oh yeah, don't forget that. Thanks, Ben. Gary, how can people contact KGB?
You can reach me on Twitter at Gagwaush, that's GAGLAUSH, or you can reach me on my PSU email at Gary, that's GARRI at PSU.com, or you can contact the KGB and your family will never see you again.
And to contact the KGB, you just say a couple of specific keywords while on the phone. That's correct, yeah?
Yes, definitely.
Oh yeah.
Please be excited.
No, I thought it was Believing Gary.
Yes, Believing Gary.
Yeah. Neil, how about you, buddy?
You can waste the ever-decreasing seconds of your life by following me on Twitter at Nezko, that's NEZZKO. You can find me on that old PSN at Son of Venom, all lowercase, all one word. Or you can find me at the email of neil.bolt@psu.com.
Sweet. Oh, yeah, I just realised I never read out my PSN thing. I always forget. If you want to add me to PSN, which many of you have, thank you very much, by the way, you can add me at Billy_Cohen84. That's capital B and capital C. Billy Cohen as in the Resident Evil 0 character, who no one seems to like but me. But there we go. Guys, that's been episode 75, but we aren't finished just yet because we do have an email to read out. I actually did forget and just managed to recover there.
1 second.
And now you haven't.
Yeah, sure, Ben, what's up?
Can I just something quickly? Remember, you can still enter that competition.
Yeah, sure.
I'm running until next week. Who is the protagonist that returns from Black Ops 1 into Black Ops 2? We've had 2 entries so far for this collector's edition of Black Ops 2. 2 whole entries. Woo!
Lots of competition then.
So if you
Is the answer Crash Bandicoot?
Give him the prize.
You win it automatic now. Ben.shillabithull@psu.com. and you'll have a chance to win a collector's edition of Black Ops 2 for the Xbox 360.
Nice, awesome. Thanks for that, Ben.
Entry ends next week.
Next week, cool. Right, well, as I said, we do end on a high. We have an email to read out. A really nice email, actually, from one Thomas Gargan. I wasn't actually on last week, so so Ben dealt with this, but he listened to the podcast last week. He says, I'll read the whole thing out. He says, sorry about the email. My browser is messing up for some reason. I just listened to this week's podcast and heard you shout me out. That was very cool of you. I'm actually interested in starting a podcast on my own, and if I do, I'll give you guys loads of shout outs and will recommend people to your website. You guys are inspiring to me. Keep up the great shows. Thank you again. Well, thank you, Tom. That was awesome to hear. Probably the first email we've had. I can't even remember the last time we had an email. And not only that, but it was very, very positive as well. So that's really cool to hear. Thank you very, very much. And we hope you enjoyed this show, and we hope you also listen to future shows as well. Ben, thanks for giving him a shout out. Was it you, I guess?
Yeah,
who did
it?
Yeah,
it was amazing.
Cool.
I can't remember much about last week's podcast because it was a thing that happened. That's for certain.
Did you all get pissed or something? You can't.
No, it was me and Ben.
Yeah, it was me and Neil.
Oh, the two-man show. Yeah.
We invented a new game again.
Oh, okay.
We invented Streets of Rage meets Resident Evil.
Oh, wow.
We thought, you know what? Imagine Streets of Rage, but with Resident Evil characters and the thugs just being zombies. Then have like Nemesis or Wesker as the stage bosses.
That would work really well.
And I got really, really sad because it's not a thing.
Yeah. Kickstarter. Make it happen.
And then on the podcast we did before, we invented, what was it, that driving home simulator where...
Yeah, driving home from your day jobs.
You're a truck driver that's got to drive home from his,
So that works just in a normal car as well. Like when I was particularly stressed while I used to drive home from my old job, it would be like a point where, today I'm a race car driver.
Yeah, but we thought we'd balance it with the fact that you got to get home before the food gets cold, but at the same time you've got a food meter, so you got to make quick stops to eat.
Isn't there already a truck simulator or something weird?
There is, but it's nowhere near this innovative.
All right. Oh god, what other simulator games are there? I'm sure there's more. I think there's Boat Simulator or something, isn't there, or something crazy like that?
The latest I saw was
Alcoholic.
Bread Simulator is amazing though. I love Bread Simulator.
Isn't that I Am Toast? Isn't it?
Yeah,
I Am Bread.
Toast.
Yeah.
I Am Bread. You can climb walls as bread.
You know what they need to make? A working out simulator. I'd buy it. Pumping iron simulator.
It depends on
It's called We Fit, dude. We Fit.
GTA San Andreas had that too. So.
Yeah, but it could be more hardcore.
There's what do we call it? I Am a Rock simulator where you play a rock.
I am a rock.
Yeah, just a rock.
The rock.
Not
You see the vast expanse of time as it goes past you, unable to affect the events around you.
I think at one point someone can pick you up and put you in the pocket and then walk off, and then you just see the inside of a pocket.
Wow. Which leads on to Pocket Simulator.
Procedurally generated pockets. Oh, there's some lint in this one.
Simulator where you're a guy sat at a PC watching a simulator.
Oh, dear. Well, we probably on that obscure note. Yeah, just sorry, Gary, go for it, man.
I was just gonna say, I don't think we've let anybody know we are on Instagram now.
Yes.
We said we got last week.
If you want to see random pictures from PSU that we just throw out there, follow us on Instagram at psu.com. It's one whole word, PSUDOTCOM.
I will flex if you ask.
And we will post that picture. just your bicep.
There'll be no filter on that either.
No.
Make a competition where we'll just take pictures of everybody's bicep on staff, and you have to guess whose it is.
And I get the muscle suit out again.
Oh dear. Well, that's on a very funny, enjoyable note. That's been episode 75, guys. Thank you for joining me again. We haven't done a 5-man podcast in a while, and Rob, special thanks to you. It's been way too long. Not only having you on a podcast, but I haven't spoken to you in a while, so it's been good to speak to you again, man. I really enjoyed that.
I see you too.
Thank you very much. And we hope to get you on the podcast again in the near future if you're up for it, that is.
I'm definitely sure, yeah.
Great, man. Gary, good to have you on again. It's been a while. Nice to talk to you. Neil, it's a pleasure as always. And obviously, Ben, good to have you here again. And hopefully we will be back again this time next week. I'm going to end it a little different today. This might fall flat on its arse, but I'll try. Rob, say something to close out the podcast. It can be anything, whatever you want. That's been episode 75, guys. I'll leave it up to Rob now.
Senpai has noticed you.
And there we go. See you later, guys.